ever ask on a test for AP. It's very to the point. There is no this or that. There is only one right answer. And it deals with something very specific and good at this time. So looking at B, it says calculate and interpret a z-score for a player in this position. So how do I calculate z-score?
X minus x squared over x.
X minus mean divided by standard deviation. So my x is what? 370 minus 310 divided by
25.
for an answer of 2.4. What is the direct interpretation of that z-score?
Take the conclusion.
This person is 2.4 standard deviations, and the specific word that she said, above the mean.
Can you write that down?
2 standard deviations above the mean.
Okay.
2.4 standard deviations above the mean. What can you absolutely not do with part B? And this is where I said maybe if I had done it the other order, y'all wouldn't have realized this.
Find the area.
Why could you have not found the area?
Because that's not what it's asking.
Because we don't know if it's a normal distribution.
We have no idea if it is a normal distribution, so never use the yellow sheet if you don't know. And I'm hoping I caught people at this point because that's one thing that I want to stand out more than anything. So I said very, very straightforward question. Just find it, and it is number of standard deviations either above or below the mean, and that is your answer. Now, A is another fairly straightforward question. There is no discrepancy in like what is being asked or anything, but the thing I don't like about A is you either get what to do or you don't, and there's no in between. Like you get a direction to go, or you're thinking in a different something, and your mind just doesn't go there, and you can't get any points for that part. This is saying, is it reasonable that it is approximately normal? And it doesn't give you much at all to go off of. It gives us 3 things, which is what, and what? Mean, standard deviation, and minimum. If this were normal and it looked like this, we understand that minimum is going to be somewhere down here, mean is here, and standard deviation tells us here, right? So you are making your entire answer just based off of those 3 things. So the way I think about this is, here's my number line. Here is 4 point, what's my mean? And I have to somehow relate that using what I know about, is it 4.1? Wait, 4.6 and 4.4, right?
Yeah.
So what could I use to decide yes or no? All right, so if I did that, I'd draw a line here, here, and here, theoretically, right? Trying to do it in perspective of that, because this number would be 4.45. So then what? That's within 1.5 standard deviations. So how can that lead to your answer?
If you compare that to the empirical rule percentages and then say it's too far away, say 95 or
What's too far away?
The placement of the minimum or is too close to the mean to be
Yes. And so everything you're saying, I'm kind of shorthanding because I want to make sure I get to finish this in time. You guys are going to have really good arguments with the exact same thing she just said, but get yourself confused in the wording. The other way to answer this problem is to go, okay, let's pretend I believe you. 4.6, 4.45, 4.3, 4.15. And 4.4 falls about here. Well, I know what percent is here.
0.35.
0.015. This one is
2.35.
2.35. So what percent is below? Should be below here. 15 something, right? Now, could I actually figure this out with the z-score and go from there? So my direction would have been, like, I would have chosen to say, find the z-score and say there should have been this percent of the data below there if it actually were normal. But what percent actually was below there? Zero. Which is the exact same thing that she was saying with it is too close to here to have worked out right, because we should have data that goes 2 and 3 standard deviations away, and I don't even have any that go past 1.5. And that is absolutely a good way to talk about it as well.
Can you just talk about it with like empirical rule?
Yes, that is fine. Everything that you were saying is a good answer. Some people it doesn't click with that way, and I just wanted to draw it out.
So
That's the only
basically,
reason. Otherwise,
right, the
it's-
minimum should be 2 to 3 standard deviations away from the mean.
we would expect a certain percent of the data to be that low. Think about
If
that.
it was normal.
If it were.
Write that out real quick.
That's what, like, I'll show you,
Like the minimum is too
I
close
just gotta
to
see
mean.
more.
yeah. I just pulled it up with the way they did it. And I'm gonna talk about these a little bit,
Oh, okay.
but there's, no wait, that's one of their given answers. Dealing with a reasonable explanation based on the relationship that the mean standard deviation middle value, that doesn't give a good one. Oh, it's here.
What's the homework?
It's online.
Textbook?
That's the way if you want to see it in Word. Yes, it's textbook. It's page 133. Some stuff. I wrote it down on there. What?
If you were to say like imagine you're running out of time on your exam and like you were to just like write like it's approximate it's like less than 1.5 standard deviations, like you just have approximate based on where it is. You lose points for not like having the specific numbers and like calculating it all out.
It kind of depends on how much the problem gave you. In this one, it's super vague, and you could like your answer was a good answer, and I'm starting to show y'all like the way the AP exam